What's up? Purdy Sports Gamer here. Brock Purdy does it again, this time in the playoffs. Full disclosure, I was nervous going into this game. The third time they were playing the Seahawks. It's usually a lot tougher game the third time they play someone. As I stated in my playoff predictions, everybody said Brock Purdy during that 5-game winning streak was not playing like a rookie, was not playing like Mr. Irrelevant. He had a kind of a iffy game against Arizona at some points, but he ended up doing okay thanks to their defense causing turnovers. But this game was different. This game, he showed some rookiness in him. He showed some Mr. Irrelevant in him. You could tell he was nervous at first part of the game. He was throwing high. He was missing receivers. He wasn't really doing that badly in the games he played during the regular season. And you could tell there was some playoff nerves, and that's very, very understandable. You're going to have playoff nerves going to this game. You got so much pressure on the 49ers. You got so much pressure on Brock Purdy to perform. There's like Super Bowl win or bust this year. They have to win the Super Bowl this year, and that's a tremendous amount of pressure. John Lynch was awesome this year. He added CMC, and that is a huge factor in them performing this year towards the end of the season, getting that 10-game winning streak and performing. CMC is the controlling factor for a quarterback. Quarterback needs a good running back, and CMC is the man. You could tell Brock Purdy was very inaccurate in the first half. He did have like that one move you just saw. He did do good that one. He danced in the pocket and found the open McCaffrey. But Brock Purdy performed, and I was very nervous in this first half. They stopped Seattle on the first 2 drives, but after that, they couldn't stop Seattle. Seattle was scoring. The defense, they didn't look that great of a defense. I know they got a sack in the first half, the first drive, but they did not get that much pressure on Geno Smith in the first half, and they couldn't stop Seattle. Seattle was driving. Walker was doing pretty good in the first half. They scored that touchdown, but the defense was not performing well. And you could tell Seattle's game plan at first was picking on Lenore. They threw a lot of passes Lenore way, and most of them were completed. He did okay at the time or two, but most of the time they were picking on him. More so than not, they were completing passes against him. There's another thing with Brock Purdy is the scrambling ability. That's one thing that I've said before, Jimmy G does not have that Brock Purdy has. He could scramble out of the pocket and pick up first down if need be. The one thing I was curious about this game was George Kittle wasn't really involved in the passing game. He had 2 catches today. I was a little surprised he wasn't involved. I know Seattle has pretty good linebackers. I thought he would be a big factor in this game today, but he was not. But they didn't really need him. They kept on driving without him. CMC was basically the first half for them between the running and his catching abilities. And the one thing that the 49ers didn't do before was one game was cashing in when they got into the territory, was cashing in touchdowns. They got 3 field goals today. And you can see that catch by DK Metcalf. Travarius Ward was off today. For some reason, he was off today. I know DK Metcalf is a big-time wide receiver. And Travarius Ward got burnt a few times. One time, he was plowed over by DK Metcalf. So I'm hoping that gets straightened out, because if Minnesota wins, he's going to be lining up against Jefferson hopefully the whole game. Jefferson is better than DK Metcalf, so it could be, if Cousins has time, it could be a long day for Ward, as they're probably just going to throw it up to Jefferson a lot. And as you could tell, as far as the game kept going, you could tell Purdy was getting more and more comfortable. He was making better passes under duress. He was scrambling in the pocket. The one thing I don't like is when he scrambles to the left. And every time he scrambles to the left, he just doesn't make an accurate pass. Most of the time just throws it away. And there he is. He missed Deebo in the end zone, and they cashed in another field goal. That was the story of the first half, was cashing in on field goals. Then this play coming up, a bad play on Ward's part. Again, Ward, I don't know what's going on in this game. Maybe he didn't sleep last night. Maybe he was nervous, thinking about going against DK, but he didn't have a good game as they cost him. They got that penalty and got them some yards to get that field goal. As the season went on this year, the big key to the 49ers was the second half. They just steamrolled everyone in the second half, and they did the same this game. After they scored the touchdown, Seattle was driving after that, still driving the ball. The defense was not stopping them. Then by some luck, they got a little bit of pressure, knocked the ball out of Geno's hands, and recovered that fumble. And it was like nonstop from there. And I'm glad that happened because I was like nervous. Even that starting that second half drive by Seattle after the 49ers scored, I was getting nervous. Like the defense was not stopping them. But as you see throughout this winning streak with Purdy, he always answered the call. He always, if the other team scored a touchdown, he brought them right back and scored the touchdown. That was a great opening drive on the second half before scoring that touchdown. And this is the drive that Seattle was marching down the field, finding those openings in the zone. DK again with a great play. I was actually nervous, throughout the first half and starting the second half. I was like, oh, this can't be happening. The Seattle cannot be hanging around like this. Purdy isn't playing the greatest, but finally some luck broke, and they got that pressure on Geno and got that fumble recovery, and they marched right down the field. Purdy was starting to make accurate throws. They were getting some decent runs from McCaffrey. He always makes those great cutback moves. He was stonewalled a lot in the first half. He had that one huge run, but most of the time he was getting stonewalled, trying to run in the middle. For some reason, maybe they saw it on film, run it down the middle. Seattle had openings. I know Seattle's horrible on run defense, but they didn't really show it this game. They were decent. Time went on. The game went on. 49ers started rolling. Purdy was making the throws, scrambling out of the pocket, finding an open receiver, scoring touchdowns. No field goals. They were scoring touchdowns, and that's the key. That was the 49ers this year in the second half of the season. They were converting, scoring touchdowns, and that's why they were beating teams. And it was good to see. I was when they scored to go up 31-17, I was like, oh, finally I could relax a little because I was very tense. And actually, it was great even in the second half, even though Noah made an interception, which was a good sight to see. He must look in the mirror at night saying, oh man, guys keep on picking on me. Why do they keep on picking on me? He's okay. He doesn't get toasted for huge plays, but he does get beat a lot. The one primetime player this game was Deebo Samuel. He had that great 70-something yard touchdown. He ran right past everyone. The guy is so tough to tackle. People just bounced off his legs. He made some big-time third down conversions to keep the drives going. This game was great to see, even though Purdy didn't look great in the first half, turned it on in the second half. Hopefully this will just keep them rolling. They're either going to play Minnesota if they beat the Giants. If the Giants win, they'll play the winner of Tampa and Dallas. I think each game is going to be tough. The one team that I think they will have an easier time is Tampa, but Dallas is going to be tough. And Minnesota, with all their weapons, could be tough. It depends which Kirk Cousins is going to show up. Is it going to be the good Kirk Cousins, or is it going to be the bad Kirk Cousins throwing interceptions? Time will tell. This was a great win. I'm going to enjoy this for the week. 1-for-1 in my picks. But I'm going to enjoy the week, bask in them victory, keep those videos turning. And I hope you guys enjoy. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And I hope you guys comment on this victory and tell me what you think. Thanks. See ya.